Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tuesday Night Live podcast from the range with your host, John G. Johnson. Good evening, folks. It's John, the firearms instructor, and welcome to Tuesday Night Live. I appreciate you being here. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Rumble. And we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you don't know who I am, my name is John Johnson, and I own and operate a firearms training facility in beautiful Cape Coral, Florida. I'm a firearms instructor, and I specialize in you. I specialize in the first-time shooters. I want to help you get to the best accuracy you can. A lot of people have been getting a little nervous on what they've seen on TV, what they've seen in the world, and having a firearm in your home and understanding how to use it is an important part of your freedom. Understand that we have a firearm in our home. Firearms are for seconds, cops are for minutes. We are our first line of defense. It is a tagline of mine, but remember that you are your first line of defense. It is not the cop's job to save you and your family's life. It is your job to save you and your family's life. And please, please, please keep that in mind. Remember, we all talk about better to have it, not need it, and need it, not have it. That's the key thing. Unfortunately, shooting a pistol sometimes is a little confusing and complicated. We always talk about shooting a pistol is not really that complicated, but it is complex. There's a lot of moving things that we've got to put together, and we put all that information down for you in multiple different ways for you to consume it. One of the ones that is the most important is our YouTube channel. We put this channel together to motivate, educate, and entertain. And I hope we do that each week. But not only do we have that, we have a full social media where we do Instagram or we do Facebook. But we have TikTok, but I'm not a great dancer, TikTok. And we actually have a lot of our ebooks, and those ebooks are put out for you. Our newest ebook is this one here, and it is the science behind the perfect sight picture. This talks in detail in regards to how to aim your pistol to be accurate at the range, and this walks you through the fundamentals. It gives you everything you need to be as accurate as you can be. And you finally have no more confusion in regards, where do I put these dots? Where do I put this on the sight? And we discuss multiple different sight systems and what we thought was the best. It's a great read. These books are only $2.99. Now, if you haven't got one of our free books that we give out, go ahead and put this, it's in the description down below, in the cart, enter free book at checkout, and it's yours for free. But here's my deal. We have multiple books about grip and stance and trigger control and sight picture and sight alignment, and each one of these are going to help you with a certain fundamental that you need to know, because they all make the system. Not one is more important than the other, but with one being wrong, they're all going to be wrong. It's important that you understand them. The rest of those books are discounted to $2.99 a piece. If you want to add a few more into the cart, that would not hurt my feelings one bit, and I would appreciate that very much. And you'd be supporting a family-owned business. So thank you in advance. All right, we'll push on. There I am. I'm back. Well, welcome, guys. If you want to comment, let us know. If you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. If you're one of our regular ones, thank you for being here as well. I'll push the comments up to get people that want to comment. Anytime you comment, I give you a shout out, and we appreciate you being here each week. So this week's class, or this week's live, it's about, if you saw it, it's okay. And I say this an awful lot. Mark J, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you very much from YouTube. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, buddy. So we talk a lot with students. I deal with a lot of newbies. When I talk newbies, I'm talking about people who've never shot a pistol before or have shot in the past, maybe 15, 20 years ago, and now they're thinking about doing it again. And we try to hold each student's hand through the process of getting back in the saddle and getting into the range and start shooting. It's all right. Tonight's class is more in regards to the topic from nervous to confident and getting past the fear. This Friday night, we have a bunch of students showing up for our handgun workshop. And this is one of those courses that's helping these students take the fear out of firearms. And that's what we try to do as an instructor for students on a regular basis, is we want to take them into a position where they control the weapon doesn't control them. And I think it's very important that we discuss what the firearm should be considered. The firearm actually should be considered a tool more than it is a deadly weapon. Now, you ask 9 out of 10 newbie students, they're all going to say it's a deadly weapon. Well, technically, what's it do without you? Absolutely nothing. So most tools need to be operated by a craftsman, and that's the important part of you learning everything you can about the firearm and get as comfortable as you can. Look, it's totally normal to feel nervous when you pick up a pistol for the very first time. Whether you've been told, whether someone has told you, or whether you've been had another discharge or something like that, people look at the firearm as a deadly weapon, and we have to break that knowledge down to a science for them to understand. It's okay for your hands to shake. It's okay for you to miss. It's okay that you're not accurate right off the bat. It's perfectly okay. Every single shooter starts in one place, and we continue your travels or your journeys as we go. Tonight, I'm going to walk you through 10 things that I continuously tell my students that it's okay and you're allowed to struggle in these points as a beginner. And then I'm going to show you how to flip those struggles into confidence. So you ever felt anxious or nervous at the range, it will finally start to go away or subside. Shooting a pistol indoors and you're hearing the concussion off the walls as well as the recoil from your neighbor's lane, it becomes overwhelming a little bit. But after you know these 10 things, you'll start to calm down a little bit and understand the mantra, I control the weapon doesn't control me. And it's important that we kind of get that in our brain as much as we can. Unfortunately, we do a lot of anticipation when we shoot. So a lot of stuff we have to shut down quietly behind the scenes to control the weapon. So here are 10 things it's okay for a new shooter to feel and struggle with. And if you want to comment below and let me know what you struggled with when you were first shooting, that will help out a lot. And if I'm missing something you think, I'm always willing to hear it as well. So, number one, it's okay to be nervous. Why firearms are serious. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that very much. Whoever did it, I appreciate it. Means a lot to me. There are 10 things it's okay for new shoots. Number one is to be nervous. Firearms are serious. Nervousness is normal. The way to do this, there's a couple ways really, but it all starts out with your ability to have the confidence that you know some of what you're doing and you've read up on it, or you have a friend or a family member, or you take an instructor class. The real thing we got to get to is a firearm is just a tool, and we need to just spend time picking it up, putting it down, loading the magazines, racking the slides, just getting familiar with it. With it being unloaded, you don't need to load it to do all this stuff. You can just get comfortable feeling one. And then what we're going to do is once you've got you're starting to break it down just a little bit, then we're going to work on one skill at a time. We're going to learn to rack the slide. We're going to learn to load the magazine. We're going to learn to aim the pistol. We're going to get the sight system done. And the more we touch the firearm, the more we feel the firearm in our hands, the more that nerves start to break down. It's funny, as new students, we do a lot of private classes, which in other words, the student comes in, nobody else is in here. It's just them and me. If it's a couple or a single. And then we spoil you because at that point in time, no one's shooting around us. I kind of like the newbies coming to a private setting because it really takes a little bit of the nerves. It's hard for a student to concentrate when they're trying to listen to me and people next to us are shooting a pistol or a high caliber pistol or a rifle of some kind. And every time the student hears that, they're jumping and they're getting nervous and they're shaking. It's just not a good thing to start them with, but it spoils them too. Because where are you going to go? Where you're going to get a private setting continuously the rest of your shooting life? We've got to get them to that level, but I think we need to crawl before we walk, if that makes sense. So it's okay to be nervous, but getting out of that nervousness is something that we have to do, and the easiest way to do it is to do it. That's the one thing. And if you get an instructor, you get a friend or a family member who can take you to the range and walk you through everything, you'll feel a lot better. It's very hard to learn this stuff on your own. Number two, it's okay to have shaky hands at first. Thank you very much for the smiley face and the thumbs up. I appreciate it very much. It's okay to have shaky hands at first. Why? You have adrenaline. You have weak stabilization muscles. No one's really told you. It's funny. A lot of people from Germany come to Cape Coral. We have a large German population here that live here year round, but they have friends and family members who have come, and we did one today, a guy's birthday. And what they've learned, how they have learned to shoot a pistol, is what they've seen on TV. And TV guns don't have the recoil that a real pistol has. It looks pretty easy on TV, but when you get here in real life, it's not as easy, and the recoil and the pressure of the push is so intense for certain people. So when someone has adrenaline or weak stabilization, it becomes something that they have to kind of get to the feel of that, because when you shoot that pistol for the very first time, one of the things that most people say is, wow, wow, I can't believe the power of that. And it is very powerful. And if someone doesn't tell you how powerful it is, now my job is to evaluate, educate, and motivate. That's what I do. So when I'm telling somebody about a recoil of a pistol, I'm not going, it's nothing. I'm saying, oh my God, this is going to have a hell of a recoil. You really got to hold on to the pistol. And really, I'm telling every student, I tell them right to their face, I'm telling you that this thing has higher recoil than it actually does. So when you shoot it, you're going to look at me with a kink eye and go, what are you talking about? It didn't have any recoil at all. No, because I've taught you how to drive the weapon. I taught you how to control the weapon. I've taught you everything you need to do to feel more confident. So one of the important things is we got to get a good solid grip around the pistol. We've got to have the control we need to make sure that when our hands are shaking, we have the ability to get that good solid grip. I think the education, once you get to it, is about the trigger press and the explosion of the bullet going off, and then resetting yourself to do it again and again and again. And these are things that will help us, like dry firing. What tends to happen internally, we have a monster inside each and every one of us. And it's causing us to be a little bit, it causes us to be a little shaky. It causes us, we don't want, the monster doesn't want to be in the range. It causes anxiety, it causes anticipation, and it causes a lot of muzzle inaccuracy because we're pulling or jerking the trigger, and it's kind of one of those deals that we need to do. So the more we can confuse our brain, because at this point in time, if you went to the range and you shot 100 rounds of ammo, every time you press the trigger, the gun would bang. So internally, what you're doing is you are pushing on the firearm prior to the weapon firing to try to muscle the recoil. And if we control the weapon by driving with our chest muscles, gentlemen, or ladies, you drive with your back muscles and keep a pistol level, you don't have to muscle anything because it's very simple and easy for us to control. Proper grip is a good overall thing, but the more that we push the gun or do any manipulations trying to stop recoil with our with our support hand versus our non-support hand, it becomes so much more challenging for us. If you stick to a 5-round drill combination every time you come to the range, really work on a good smooth trigger press, you're going to be okay. The problem is when people start putting 15 rounds in a 15-round magazine, and then they put themselves on the ride. They're just along for the ride until the weapon is empty. And if we were to go back and manually look at our pluses and our minuses, I would say the first 5 rounds of a magazine, you could be pretty damn accurate. When you get past 5 is when you start losing pressure, power, grip, everything else goes to shit. And then that's why you're in accuracy. as it is, and your shots are all over the place. So, number 3, it's okay to miss the bullseye. We have a lot of competitive people, and surprisingly, the most competitive people are married women. They had their husband and them come to the range, and she is upset. Good evening, Kurt Richards from New Jersey. Thank you very much. Oh, I didn't see. M271, thank you very much for being here as well. M271 said, I just got my carry permit, bought my first gun, was SW body card 2.0 380. I think I should have bought a larger pistol as my first gun. I aim okay with my friend's larger pistol, but issues with the tube. Yeah, you bought the wrong gun first. A lot of people don't want to buy 2 guns, so they can buy the one carry. You bought a carry gun, my friend. That carry gun is designed to be carried. That is a one-handed pistol. The Bodyguard's a great pistol. It's got a great trigger, probably one of the best triggers for a 380, but be honest with you, something with a little larger barrel, maybe you want to stick in the Smith & Wesson family, look at that equalizer. It's our top number 1 seller, and I can tell you this, you will not be disappointed, and that'll give you the home defense gun, the range gun, some carry, where that 380 Bodyguard is a pocket carry gun. Those are designed to go in your pocket. Although, John Diamond, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you very much. God bless you. Thank you. Coming from YouTube. John Diamond says, thank you, John. You are a great instructor that explains the process of firearms is a tool and it's how it is treated. That is true, my friend. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you being here, John Diamond. Thank you. Big shout out to you, buddy. Thank you. So what I would say to you guys is, as far as the 380 M271, just spend time controlling it. If you don't know how to control the weapon properly, it's a small pistol, but make sure your 2 thumbs are forward the best you can and drive with your chest muscles. Stop trying to squeeze the gun with your hand, and you'll shoot it a lot better, because that is a good, solid pistol, and you can be accurate with it. All right. It's okay to miss, and I find that most of the time, being competitive is one of the challenges for women and husbands, which is okay. That's fine. Miss Johnson outshoots me all the time. I got no problem with that. But we need to realize that it's not about bullseyes. It's about defensive accuracy. And we've talked about that many times before. I don't care if you can cloverleaf your pistol at 200 yards with your hand. It doesn't matter to me. What I'm more concerned about is, can you put the 3 to 4 rounds in the vital triangle? Put an 8-inch paper plate up. I put the target at any distance. Can you put the rounds in the center of the paper plate? If you can, you are accurate. If you can't, you're pulling the trigger, jerking the trigger, doing some manipulation, maybe not looking through the pistol, maybe got the gun below your line of sight, maybe you're focusing on your 2 back posts, maybe you're bending your wrist. There are so many things you could be doing to the pistol is causing you to be inaccurate, right? The pistol's only as accurate as the person who's pressing the trigger. And if you're doing some kind of manipulation on the backside of that firearm, because most people think I have to aim the pistol to be accurate. Sights on a pistol are a convenience, guys. They're not a necessity. If I put the pistol in my line of sight, focus on the backside of the firearm. Don't look at your sights. Look at the backside of your firearm. Take 5 rounds. Put an 8-inch paper plate out there and push the trigger slowly. You will contact that paper plate at any distance with the bullets because you are now have a level pistol. You're not looking through sights. You're not bending your wrist to aim the weapon. You're doing look through the gun, look through the sights, and when you start keeping the weapon in your line of sights, you'll be more accurate. So it's okay not to be a bullseye shooter. Actually, accuracy is learned as a motor skill. Fixing it by slowly firing single shots, then progressing to speed work. It's important that we find the right part of the system and figure out what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Pretty simple. You can do it very easily. I think one of the biggest things I can give you is you can test if you are doing any manipulation of the pistol by being a true, honest person with yourself and put a white piece of paper up there. Don't do a target, do a backside of the target, white paper. Take a black line, take a black magic marker, take a black electrical tape, put it across the top of it. In your line of sight, cut down 5 shots down that black line. Rotate with your waist. If all your bullets are on the black line or just above the black line, you've got a great trigger press. If you got that black line in your line of sight, your black line is your line of sight, and you're cutting all those shots and they're going below the line, you are manipulating the pistol by pulling the trigger, or you don't have the gun in your line of sight, you have it below your line of sight, or you're tilting your head back, or you're doing some kind of weird angle thing on the gun. And that's why most people miss, is because they are not looking through the pistol and they're using their wrist to aim the gun versus their waist to aim the gun. Pro tip here, guys. Imagine a pole between your hips. I want you to bend on that pole. You're going to bounce on your knees, but you're going to rotate forward just a little bit to aim the pistol. This will keep your arm straight, and this will keep the weapon level. Because we all know what? A level pistol shoots level. Don't get tired of me saying that yet, but that's one of the things, the mantra. You know, at one time doing this YouTube channel, I thought to myself, well, I've done that video. I can't do that video again. And then I started thinking to myself, wait a minute. I say this every day. We talk about this aha moment. We talked about it in masterclass. We took people from all over the United States, and they worked with me for 4 weeks to master their handgun. I'm trying to get that out for I don't have to be on a phone thing every week. I'm running out of arms, I'm running out of hands, I'm running out of time. I want to work with every student I can, but I'm trying to put that out for you guys again in another way. But it's important that you understand when we get the aha moment in our head. No problem. Thank you. Thank you again, M271. I appreciate you very much for being here. Are you new? Have you been on here before, sir? And where are you from? If you don't mind me asking you that. And John Diamond, yourself too. I think I recognize that name. Where are you from, John? Let me know. An aha moment is when I tell you something at the store here, or I tell you something in one of these classes, or I tell you something in one of these YouTube channels, or you read something in one of our books, and then it all of a sudden makes sense. And you go, aha, that's what the fat guy's been saying. And I know you don't say the fat guy, I just always say that. Yeah. But then it hits you. And all of a sudden, at that point in time, you get it. And that's what we have to do. We have to get to that point where we get so sick of missing and we start searching the YouTube, the interwebs, why the hell am I missing? Why am I shooting low and left? And then you find the answer and you go to the range and you do it, and it goes, oh, yet I think I have figured this out. And you did it all on your own, without any help from anybody else, which is which is I'll keep the secret. I won't tell anybody I helped you. All right, I won't tell anybody. So don't worry about being a bullseye shooter. Just worry about running the defensive accuracy. And defensive accuracy is shoulders to groin, big boys and girls. And that's a pretty big target. 8-inch paper plate is, if you really want to think about it, if you took two 8-inch paper plates and two 8-inch paper plates, that's shoulders to groin. Yeah, so you don't have to be a bullseye shooter. You just got to hit that vital triangle. It's okay not to know your dominant eye. Why is dominant eye so important? With all these people doing these one eye forward, one eye back, the one progressive, one not progressive, one. Listen, I've got one of our guys here, been shooting an awful long time, and he actually went to his doctor and got a prescription for shooting, and he wears contacts for God's sakes. But what it helped him out tremendously start focusing, because he had the one that was forward and one that was back. And when he went and got that contact information, got it fixed, it solved one of his problems. Because why it's important is most people shoot a pistol over their nose and not over their dominant eye. And we have to marry the weapon and the eye together. So it's okay that you don't know it, but what you should do is figure out why it's important and what's it going to do for us. When you marry a weapon and an eye together, you're already shooting over the pistol. You're already over top of the pistol the best way you can. And that stops some of that left shooting already. If I'm right handed and right eye dominant, and I got the gun over my nose, I'm already starting to put the gun at a bias, at an angle, which is causing some of the left stuff. And then when I put too much finger in the gun or I pull the trigger, there's where the left is. So that low and left is very easily fixed if you understand what you're doing wrong and see where it came from. Low and left didn't come from you doing crazy thing with your finger. Low and left started with the gun not being over your dominant eye, which is an education. John Diamond's, he was born in Reno, but he's in Las Vegas for 35 years. Ooh, that's awesome. I've been to Vegas once. I stayed to Bellagio. Corporately, they put us in there. Of course, I had a room on the backside, not by the fountains, but interesting place. I don't know. Me and Miss Johnson has been to Vegas. I've been to Vegas, but we've never been to Vegas together. So that's one of our bucket list trip, I guess. I don't know if I want to go out and gamble, but I wouldn't mind going to the shows and stuff like that. It's kind of that would be cool, but I don't know. One of those things. It's on the list. Who knows? We'll go one day or another. She's a gambler. I play around with what's the roulette? Yeah, that's the one. 36 is my number, but I don't. Slot machines are more my speed, if that makes sense. I'm too embarrassed to get up there. And she plays blackjack and some other stuff, but they don't want me counting on my fingers while I'm doing blackjack, so that'd be kind of embarrassing. So that's it. So understanding your dominant eye is key. People assume they know it. Many people don't. They don't have a clue. Quickest check I can give you is make the diamond, look through it, bring it back to your face. It'll automatically go to your dominant eye. And if you're not shooting over your dominant eye, that most likely is causing some of the inaccuracy that you're having. It's okay to be unsure how to grip the pistol and what pressure, lack of, or too much can cause a lot of issues. Unaware of how to grip the pistol properly, it becomes a challenge for us. Why? Too much grip, which causes a lot of torquing. Too little of grip will cause the wrist to bend, and and it's going to cause some rise and falls. It, you can fix a lot of this stuff by getting a good, solid, positive two thumbs forward grip. If you want to know more about grip, visit our YouTube channel, check out some of our playlists, check out one of our ebooks. We have the newest ebook out called Get a Grip. That is the science of the proper two thumbs forward grip. And it kind of explains to you why teacupping doesn't work, grabbing your wrist doesn't work, over torquing with your dominant hand, putting too much power on your dominant hand and not enough on your non dominant hand. It is a science, really, if you really think about it. It's not as much as you would think, because realistically, our power comes from these four fingers. I'm right handed and I'm right eye dominant. So my left hand is controlling the pistol and my right hand is holding the pistol. And this is how we need to lay out our pressure on the pistol. And the moment we get a student to control the pistol properly, where we're not getting that flip of the front post, or we're not getting when the student presses the trigger, the front post drops low. When they get a level pistol and they run the trigger properly, it almost feels like they're in complete control. Then they get that moment in their brain and they go, that's what he's been talking about. That's where driving of the pistol makes so much difference for us, guys. If we drive the pistol with our chest muscles, our pecs, and press and pull with the firearm for you ladies, you're going to control that weapon and stop all that crazy muzzle flip, which in turn causes you to have some intimidation because you feel like you're out of control due to the fact that that pistol is got a lot of muzzle flip happening. And the muzzle flip is happening because you're not gripping the gun properly. So two thumbs forward, getting into a decent stance, getting your feet shoulder width apart, bouncing on your knees, you put yourself in a great way to control the weapon. Number 6, it's okay to flinch or anticipate during recoil. We have to get used to this. Subconsciously, you are reacting to the loud noise and the recoil. To fix this, as we talked before, is get yourself in a routine to dry fire and live fire at the range. It's two things you could do. There's a drill called the ball and dummy drill, and this is where you take a magazine, you put 4 rounds that are live and 1 dummy round on the table, and have your friend or associate load your magazine for you, making sure that that dummy round is somewhere in the middle of the live rounds. And you are going to engage the trigger through your shots. You're going to get a proper grip and a proper stance and a proper trigger control. And you're going to bring that trigger back, and the weapon's going to cut, and you're going to the bullet's going to eject, the new one's going to go in, and bang, it's going to do it again. And then next one, maybe the dummy one, or the one after that, maybe the dummy one. And then we need to figure out if we need to press the trigger exactly the same each time. But when we anticipate, you'll see the bobble of the firearm when that front when that gun goes click instead of bang, and that'll see what kind of tension or pressure or anticipation you're putting on the firearm. This ball and dummy drill is a great way to play a game and really work on getting that trigger back into a slow cadence. Too many people pull the firearms trigger versus press the firearms trigger. What's the difference really? The difference really is accuracy or no accuracy. Be honest with you. When you pull the trigger, you pull the bullet. Pull the bullet, it impacts where you're pulling it to. When you press the trigger, you're pushing the trigger in the back of your hand, and at that point in time, it's going to stay as level as it can be, and you'd be more accurate. I've told many people before, think about a scale, for instance. If there was a scale in front of you, and let's just say the trigger pull is 5 pounds. So if I put 5 pounds on one side of the scale, we know the other side of the scale would be high rise, if that makes sense. So if I took a 5 pound whatever and I dropped it from 4.5 feet to the scale, what would happen to the 5 pounds on this side of the scale? Well, if we drop 5 pounds, the inertia and the gravity pulling that 5 pounds would hit the scale with a velocity that may unlodge the other 5 pounds. Does that make sense? Okay. Now imagine we did exactly the same, but I cut that 5 pound bag open and I began to pour the sand on the 5 pound scale. What would happen? Well, the 5 pounds on the side that was there would be starting to lift very slowly as the containment of the other would be empty onto the scale. That is a press. We have a pull and a press. We need to press the trigger and not pull the trigger. And it's important when we do that, that subconsciously we are just letting the weapon ride until it cuts. And the more we can get comfortable doing that, the less chances are that we're going to have manipulation or bobbling of your front post. Because this is what happens when you engage a trigger aggressively, you're going to manipulate the firearm in some way. Which, when you manipulate a firearm in some way, you are moving your sights off of the target. And once they're off the target like that, it's very challenging to be accurate, if that makes sense. All right. It's okay to be confused by different sights, iron sights versus red dot versus combat hold versus 6 o'clock hold. There's so many different things. It is somewhat confusing, especially because each manufacturer has a different sighting system. They have the box and dot system Glock has. It's a white box and a dot. Simply put the dot in the box. It seems simple. The challenge is the way it lays out. Then they have the 3-dot system, which is a white dot in the front, 2 dots in the back. Then they have the blacked out back sight, white dot front sight. Then they have tritium. Then they have true glows. And then they have glow in the darks. And they have green up front and red in the back. And they all kinds of different. They're all pretty much the same. The one thing I think we teach here And it just gives us the ability to have a consistent point of aim is we teach the 6 o'clock hold, which is that ebook I was telling you about earlier in this live. What the 6 o'clock hold really does for us, it gives us consistent point of aim. The challenge is in the realm of shooting a pistol is repetition. Everything has to be the same. And if one thing isn't the same, that's going to cause our inaccuracy to, to weigh, right? So let's just think about if we took a 3 dot system, 2 dots in the back, 1 dot in the front. Right off the bat, we know those 3 dots have to be lined up. 1, 2, 3. And if I said to you, if you have your 2 dots on your back sight and your 1 dot in your front, and the dot is higher than your 2 in the back, well, you kind of have an idea. You're going to shoot high, and you're going to shoot low, and you're going to shoot right, you're going to shoot left. And the negative space on the sight is just as important as the levelness of the back sight and the front sight. Well, the challenge is most people put their target below their line of sight. And if you are using your wrist to aim the gun, you're putting a weird angle on the pistol and it's going to cause us a lot of problems. So, what we teach here at the store is we take the pistol and we put the pistol in the center of the target. And we say, well, if we were aiming at the bullseye in the center of this target and we centered our barrel in the center of the target, our sights would be above where we are aiming because our sights are above our barrel. And that bullet does not travel out of the barrel at a downward angle. It actually goes up a little bit to travel into the line of sight. That's why the 6 o'clock hold is so important for most people, because then what you start getting is a consistent point of aim. And to explain 6 o'clock hold, the easiest way to it, if you have a circle target with a red dot in the center, and if I told you 6 o'clock hold, you could imagine you would aim at the base of the red dot because that's where 6 o'clock is on the clock. So to make it simple for you, if you continuously aim 6 o'clock hold, which put the golf ball, golf tee effect, or lollipop and stick effect, you're going to have a consistent point of aim. And then as we start doing that consistent point of aim, then we can start seeing what kind of impact we're having. Am I manipulating the pistol by pulling the trigger, or do I need to adjust my sights? And most of the time, if you engage the pistol and the trigger and work everything, you will impact exactly where you're aiming. And this is a real challenge for most students because most students that are shooting at a target impact below where they're aiming because they are not looking through the pistol. So, which is the best sighting system for you? You make that decision. I'm not a red guy person. I don't think the red dots have a place. They're there. They're great, wonderful. People love them. But I've seen them break. I've seen them fog up. I've seen batteries go dead. I've seen them come off a pistol and fall on the floor because the actual bolts broke on them. There's a lot of things can happen to a red dot. If you are going to get a pistol with a red dot, you need to have a pistol without a red dot in the same manufacturer that you can train both ways. Because even though they say they co-witness, they don't co-witness very well. And it's hard for you to concentrate on this, and this. Realistically, when we're aiming a pistol, we only focus on the front post as much as we can. Front post focus is the key to be as accurate as we can be. It's very hard for our brain to focus on the back, focus on the front, focus on grip, focus on trigger press. Everything starts to weigh a little bit. So it's very, very, very challenging. And with a red dot, most people are using the dot as an aiming device. Your aiming device is your two eyes and let the dot float. That's how a red dot's supposed to be used, not using the dot as the aiming device. Use your eyes as the aiming device and let the dot give you a focus point. All right, so whether you do sights or one sight system at a time, it's the best way to go. If you want a red dot on your pistol, by all means, get a red dot on a pistol. But please, please, please don't buy a gun with a red dot on it from the factory because you need to learn to shoot the gun without it before you shoot the gun with it. I don't know how many times students come here and they bring their pistol in, and I got to spend 50 minutes or better trying to get them to see the red dot before we could even take the class. That's why we have to take it off, get them shooting, get them comfortable, and then put it back on. So it's a second, third class. Now, the salesman at the Bass Pro Shop or any of these big places, they're not really thinking. They're just what the customer wants is what the customer buys. And the customer is really not thinking because they've never used one of those before in their life. They don't even know they have astigmatism and they put that red dot up in front of it and it looks like a freaking starburst and they can't figure out why because they haven't had their glasses or their prescriptions figured out in a long time. And now you have spent big money on a dot system that you can't run. So it becomes frustration if that means. All right. Number 8, it's okay to forget some safety rules under stress. Here at the range, we start every class with the basics. Treat every weapon as it is loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger. Never point the weapon at anything you love and don't want to destroy. Always keep the weapon pointed down range. There's a lot of things safety-wise that people do here at the range when we're by ourselves that I have to kind of tremendously remind them on a regular basis. As simple as turning the gun to look at where the magazine dump is, right? Well, anytime you turn a gun in the range, you're changing the angle of it and it's crossing your border. Your borders at the range, guys, is the two walls that you're against all the way to the wall in the back where the trap is. And if your barrel changes direction to cross that line, you're breaking a safety rule, right? We don't hardly ever see anybody turn it at a 45-degree angle, but even crossing that line just a little bit is dangerous, and we talk about that. So, remind yourself it's not your fault you keep your finger on the trigger when you're done shooting and the weapon is at slide lock. You do come bring it up, you take your magazine out with your finger still on the trigger, and you set the gun down. Although you know the gun is empty, you need to magically take your finger off the trigger every time the weapon is at slide lock. You just do it. You get the habit of doing it. We do not show a pistol to anybody before racking it, and we keep our finger off the trigger. Stuff we've done here for Jacob and Johnny, my wife, we all do the same here. It's a discipline you have to get to. Safety rules are probably the most important things that people think they know until something happens. And they always say this thing about an accidental discharge. Those aren't accidents, those are ignorance. It's a dumbass discharge. Don't do it. The only way a weapon will fire, the only way a semi-automatic pistol will fire in the real world, we're not talking 320s, but in the real world, is if you pull the trigger. No guns go off by themselves, you understand. You have done something, you have broken a safety rule to make that gun go bang. So, as much as you'd like to blame everybody else, you can't. It's you. And pray to God it's something that you can fix, something you can you put a band-aid on, something that's not gonna it's gonna hurt your feelings, but it's not gonna hurt anything else. When it starts hurting other people, that's when it becomes a real challenge for us. So fix the habits first. Get the drills going. Remember the acronyms. How do you unload a pistol properly? You drop it. You drop the magazine. You rack the slide. You open the slide and you physically check. This is the only way to unload a semi automatic pistol. DROP. Drop. Remember that. Drop the magazine. Rack the slide. Open the slide. Physically check the pistol by opening it and looking straight through it. Cool thing, semi automatic pistols, you can see daylight all the way through them, from the magazine well to the top of the firearm. Semi automatic shotguns, rifles, anything else, you can't see all the way through them unless it's a double barrel or over and under. You can look through it to verify. So you just want to assume what? Assume always that a weapon is loaded. I trick all my students into telling me we get done at the end of the class, we're going to learn to unload the pistol properly. I load the pistol up, I put the pistol down on the table, and I ask them, is this gun loaded? And they say, yes, it's loaded. And I say, why is it loaded? And they tell me, because you racked the slide. And I say, no, that's not why it's loaded. Why is that gun loaded? Why is that gun hot, is what I say. I don't say loaded. Why is that gun hot? Is that gun hot? And they go, yes, it's hot because you put it around the chamber and, it's loaded. I said, nope, that's not why it's hot. Why it's hot is because it's a firearm. All firearms are hot, no matter what. Just assume it. Just assume it's hot. And if you walk away for 5 minutes from the firearm, when you get back and you start working on it, you need to verify it's unloaded every time. Because the moment you don't is the moment you got a problem. So, DROP. Drop, rack, open, physically check. If you don't remember that, remember this. Booger picker, off bang button. Very important. Very important. All right. Number 9, it's okay to feel embarrassed about slow progress. It's okay that you can't load a magazine that good. That's one of the toughest things as a firearms instructor to get a student to grasp. You got a spring, you got a follower, you got all this stuff, and some people don't have the dexterity or the pressure, and some of these magazines are so stiff that it becomes the challenge for you. And if you can't load it, how can you shoot it? That's why Smith and Wesson Easy and the Equalizer and a lot of these other guns coming out, like Ruger's got one now that's easy racking, and all the manufacturers are coming out with easy racking things and easy loading magazines, because this is our group of people that we have to work with. It's okay to feel embarrassed about your slow progress. It's not okay to give up when you think you are not making it or not getting there. The YouTube makes it looks easy. TV makes it look easy. In reality, we need to work on these small wins. I always am amazed on when I take the person and we get them for the very first time to load 5 rounds of the magazine, and I walk over to the imaginary whiteboard and I give them a big check because that is a big win. I can load the magazine. You can load the magazine, then you shoot the pistol. If you can't load the magazine or you can't rack the slide, and this is the challenge people have, someone bought them a pistol. Never, ever buy your wife or your girlfriend a pistol if she hasn't shot it. If she hasn't, can she even rack it? Can she pull the trigger? If you're buying yourself a gun, and it's you getting it for your wife, but you like it too, well, that's okay. Do it because you know you're buying it for yourself anyways. I won't tell her. But if you're buying a gun for your wife, make sure she shoots it before she buys it. Because there's so many people that are buying guns right now because the way they look. They don't know about racking the slide. They don't know about pulling the trigger. They don't know about any of that stuff. And the moment they bring it into a range like us, treat everyone like family. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You bought the wrong gun. You bought an L. You bought a loss. If you can't rack it, you can't shoot it. And remember, we're not buying a gun for now. We're buying a gun for 20 years. If she can barely rack it now, do you think she's going to be able to rack it after she practices for 10 years? I don't think so. I think it's going to be more challenging for her. And 2 weeks ago, lady went out to Bass Pro Shop, bought a revolver because somebody told her women can only shoot revolvers, which is bullshit. Women can do anything a man can do. She brought it in here. You know, she couldn't even pull the trigger. I said, you didn't try to pull the trigger out of Bass Pro Shop? She said to me, they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let you pull the trigger? And you bought it anyways? Now, I blame her for that. But don't go to these big box stores and expect them to think about you. I told you already, I specialize in you. I specialize in a first-time shooter. If you're buying a pistol for yourself or for a loved one and you haven't shot it yet and you haven't pulled the trigger or you haven't, can I rack the slide? Can I do anything with it? You're making a very bad mistake because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? When you buy it, you own it. You can't return it. And if you do return it, expect an L. An L isn't for love. L's for a loss because now when you walk out the door with it, it's now a used pistol. And as the gun store goes, I can't sell it for new, even if you did not shoot it, because it went on paperwork and went out the door. So I have to promote it as a used gun. Take it from me. Don't make this mistake. Gentlemen, don't buy your wife a pistol. Let her go with you or have her go to the store and let her figure it out and pick the one she wants. If she doesn't understand or doesn't want to, how do you figure it out? Well, guess what? Try before you buy is a great opportunity that we offer here on a regular basis. Most of our classes come with firearms for you to try. If you bring a firearm in and you can't manipulate it or you can't, because when I say, yeah, that's a great pistol, but the trigger's crappy, and they don't understand what that means because they're pulling the trigger, and I go and I grab a Ruger or a Smith or one of the other ones, and they pull the trigger on that, I go, oh my God. Or they load the magazine on the Smith, they go, oh my God. You know, and they now they're starting to, oh, I understand this now. I understand what's causing it. So, you know, slow progress is a big deal, but slow in catching it is more important, right? Take your time. Don't rush through stuff, but get the right thing for you is going to be more important. Number 10, it's okay to need coaching. You know, shooting a pistol seems to be everyone can do it, and everyone can. But shooting a pistol accurate, there becomes the issue. I can pull a trigger, but can I be accurate with a pistol? And this is the real challenge for students. Because what happens, guys, As a firearms instructor, my job is to evaluate what the student's doing, educate him or her on why it's happening, and then motivate them to change their ways to become more accurate at the range. Simply said, pulling a trigger is the last thing you need to do. Hiring an instructor, investing in you, investing in your future is worth its weight in gold just for the purpose of the first 200 rounds. Because most people do it in reverse. Buddy A tells Buddy B, what you need to do is you need to get you a Glock because everyone knows Glock's the most accurate pistol in the world. It's the most popular pistol in the world, and Glock's your product. So Buddy B goes to the gun store, and the guy at the gun store says, how can I help you? And he says, I want a Glock. And he goes, okay, what caliber? Oh, huh? Which Glock you want? Huh? He doesn't know because his buddy didn't tell him what to get. He just said, get a Glock. So when you come and you get an instructor to help you identify what's best for you, when a customer comes in here, it's a husband and a wife, and I've got one this weekend, and I think it's funny because he signed her up for it, which is cool. I love that. It's something she wants though. And I said to him, I go, okay, is she in on this? She wants to be here. Because that's one thing I hate when guys surprise their wives. We're going to go firearm shooting, and she's actually signing up for a class. But at the end of it, she wants to be in it, right? Well, this guy is like 6'5" and close to 300. Not fat, but big guy. And I said, well, tell me a little about your wife. You get kids. I want to know all this stuff about my students because I want to make sure we're getting what we need here. And she's like 5'3", buck 10, buck 15, or whatever the deal is. Well, he's thinking about getting a Glock 19, and they're both going to shoot it. And I kind of said to him, well, your hands and her hands are two different things. So what I do most of the time, guys, for couples, is I look straight at the woman. I go, today's all about you, sweetheart. We're going to find the gun that's going to fit your hands the best. And then if you want, you can purchase it. And then we will order it, and we'll get it in, and we'll get to go through all the process. But before you buy anything, we're going to go in the back, and we're going to run these 3 pistols, and we're going to pick the one that you shoot the best. Well, that's the best way to do it if you really think about it. A firearms instructor is going to work for you and make you more accurate. When you spend the one that fits you the best is the easiest one for you to control and the easiest one to be more accurate with. So booking one single lesson, average firearms training class right now in the industry, you're looking somewhere between 140. There's some crazy guys getting a lot of money, 360 for a single class. I don't know who would pay that. I average during the summer about $99. During the fall, we're about $140, $150 for a single class. Most of our classes have CCW with it because that's just the way we do it. It's pretty simple and easy. If you really think about that money and you think about how much ammo you're going to spend trying to figure out yourself. And the problem when you come into the range and trying to figure out yourself, you're going to burn through thousands of rounds, pick up worse habits than you've got right now. And at the end, when you come back and decide, now I'm going to take class, well, we got to break all your bad habits. We got to break all of the things that you're doing wrong to try to fix them. And the problem with that, it's very challenging because you will take 4 steps forward and 5 steps back. The moment I have worked with students, and when they do the pickup classes here, we give them the instructions first time. When they come back, we work with them about 20 minutes back there working with us. Then we give them 20 minutes of them working by themselves to just get a feel of being in the range and doing the stuff themselves. And within that short period of time, they the grip changes, they're engaging the trigger. So we have to spend an awful lot of time getting them comfortable doing it. That's why I love working with couples, because a man hears what he wants to hear in the training class, and a woman hears what she wants to hear in the training class. When you do a single class with a student, no offense, guys, but you're going to get somewhere between 35 and 40% of what I'm telling you. When you do a couples class together, you're in the high 50s, maybe 60s, according to what the students are. And it becomes so much easier for the student to get to that aha moment quicker when the two of them are working together. Because you really think about it, and I talk about a lot, having this firearm in your home is a big responsibility that neither one of you can take light. And this is why when we ask the questions, where is she at on having firearms in the home? Where are you at? And all that stuff like that. Because a lot of times I'm told one thing, but when they get here, it's a different. We all got to be 100% because we're bringing something in the home that everybody needs to know about. And this includes the kids, guys. I'm not talking about babies. I'm talking about, that 12 to 17, 10 to 17. Girl maturity and boy maturity is different, but bringing firearms in the home, everyone needs to know about them, how to use them, and that's the beauty of a firearms instructor, a training facility like this. We allow kids. You go to the big box stores or big ranges, they don't allow kids, and that's a shame because we need more youth to get involved in shooting. We need more families to get involved. As my dad would say, take your boys hunting or fishing. You're never going to hunt or fish for your kid again. These are important things we need to do. That's why important to spend time doing these things and getting the nerves to go away. It's okay. What's not okay is not getting it. It's okay to feel nervous and miss shots and be inconsistent for a little while. That's how we learn. If we're engaging the trigger and we're pulling it versus pressing it, one of the greatest things I can give you is when I see a bad pull, you can feel it. A good shot feels good. You can feel it back there. It looks good. You can control it. When it becomes not okay, months have passed and you're still doing the same damn mistakes. It can be frustrating and you're not correcting them. I see it all the time. People come in, I know people are commenting. I'm going to come back and answer all these comments. I appreciate each and every one of you doing that. Just give me a few minutes here and we'll get down to the end. Because you know me, I start talking, I'll be going there. Same mistakes without correction. The bad habits begin to cement in. And then you start wondering, what the hell happened? Where did my accuracy go? What went on? Why did it? What's happening? What's going on? What happens is those bad habits get locked in, and then no one's there to help you. If you're building muscle memory, but it's the wrong muscle memory, that becomes the problem for us. We talk about pulling the trigger an awful lot. We know it manipulates the pistol. So if you get a good instructor that can help you, find yourself some training tips and tricks you can get. Join one of our handgun training systems where we give you a drill a week that you need to work on your fundamentals. You'll start doing that homework. You'll start doing something at the range. I always tell students, hey, listen, range time is not supposed to be comfortable. Range time needs to be challenging. And the more challenged you are in range time, the more accurate you'll become. If we're just doing the basics, and we're not challenging ourselves, that's when we begin to slide backwards. That's when we come and just are here to blow up ammo. Are you here to learn? Are you here to become more accurate? Are you here just to burn 500 rounds? It's okay to have a mag dump mentality once in a while, but mag dump mentality is an accuracy killer. It's not going to help us tremendously in the overall effect of what we're trying to do. I tell students all the time, this firearm that you bought today is your new job. It's your new job, and most of you have your job down to a science. You know exactly what to do. So the more I can get you to think of it like that, the more accurate and the more competent and the more ability you will have. All right, folks, that's going to wrap up tonight's Tuesday Night Live. Remember, it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to miss. It's okay to be a little shaky. With the right instructions and a little confidence and patience and consistency, you will build the muscle memory you need to shoot accurately every time at the range. If you got value from tonight's live from the range, which we do every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please hit that button. You know the button I'm talking about. When you hit that button, you tell the powers to be that this live is worth sharing and it is important to you. We have a lot of people who watch our lives and our videos and our YouTube channel and our shorts that do not subscribe. I don't know. We don't ask for it very often, but I will tell you, the more you subscribe, the more support you give me, the more comments you make, the more that the YouTube sees that and gives us a platform to push out to the masses. Speaking of masses, if you have friends or family members that are thinking about getting into shooting, please share this live or any of my YouTube information. It could help them as well. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Stay safe and train smart. Now I'm going to go back and answer a few questions here. So Michigan Realty, appreciate your channel. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, buddy. So let's go up here real quick and say thank you to Mark J. Thank you to M271. Kurt Richards, as always, thank you. Always a confident one. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you being here from New Jersey. John Diamond, thank you very much for the great compliments you've given me. I appreciate you. Following from Michigan, John. Appreciate your channel. Thank you very much, M271. M271's Vegas trips are best solo, bud. Yeah. Good comment there. And then D Marshall, 34. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you very much. You want one that fits your hand. My wife wanted a Glock 26. Terrible. I hate those. My hands are too small for them. And when you got to put an extended mag in them to make them fit, she shot one, and now she shoots a Glock 19. Very cool. That's awesome. Glock 19, nothing wrong with it. I can tell you that. It's a very popular one. According to how big her hands are, she get her hand all the way around it. I can tell you that there's a lot of Glock 19s in people's closets all over the United States. So you can't go wrong with getting a Glock if you're going to do it. But I'd surely shoot something else besides. Two things happen to a Glock. One, trigger. They change the trigger out because the trigger is tough on those Glocks. It's got a unique system where it's got a heavy front load, and then it cuts, and it doesn't really have a hard, solid wall. So it's a kind of a stiff trigger. And then the sight system, the box and dot system, is a little challenging for some people. They don't really, I'm not sure exactly why they have a challenge with it. And some people don't like the grip angle. Some like the grip angle, some don't like the grip angle. But look, she did the right thing. What did she do? She wanted the 26, she shot the 26, and she hated the 26. That's why she went back to the Glock. When she's ready to let her try out some Smiths or some other stuff, and you'll find that the trigger assembly is a lot different. Let her try that equalizer. You'll probably end up, well, don't do that, because if you let her shoot the equalizer, she'll be selling her a Glock 19 and getting that equalizer. Appliance tips. Not sure if you went over it already, but how do you feel about the new open carry law? Is it something that will partake in and stick to conceal? Well, let me just tell you right off the bat, I will tell you in Florida, the chances of that passing are going to be very hard to get it done. I will tell you, I want you to think about this, and I want you to think about it very hard. Why do you have your concealed carry license? We have our concealed carry license for a tactical advantage. In Florida, they passed the permitless carry, which means you do not need a concealed carry license to get one. But there are a lot of advantages to getting your concealed carry license. Like as purchasing a firearm, you do not have a 3-day wait when you have your concealed carry license here in Florida. Number two, we get reciprocity, which Florida put up rules or joint agreements with 36 states. So having your concealed carry license in those 36 states is and be able to carry in those 36 states. Now, the laws in those states and the laws in Florida are a little different. You need to make sure you understand all those laws as you travel. Purchasing, carrying, and, having the ability to protect. Dealing with cops, too, it's a lot easier when you show them your concealed carry license and your driver's license if you stop by a cop. Pretty simple and easy. I don't know who the group is that wants this open carry so bad. I kind of have that image of the person who wants to carry a weapon on their body for the purpose of what? For the purpose of intimidation? I'm carrying a weapon on my side for you to be intimidated and not mess with me? Then why am I carrying it open carry? Like, that just seems kind of weird to me. So let me tell you what open carry becomes. Open carry makes you the first victim. I'll say it again. Open carry makes you the first victim. The challenge you really have, I'm about to get a mic. My mic was, I was wondering what was going on, Mike. The challenge you have is we got our concealed carry license for a tactical advantage. That tactical advantage allows me the ability to carry a gun without you knowing it. So, in turn, if I ever needed it, it's available. When I have a concealed open carry license on me, when I'm carrying my weapon open, I have lost my tactical advantage. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry knows I have it. Well, number one, the challenge we have is bad guys aren't afraid of a firearm. And they're not intimidated by a firearm. They look at that firearm you have on your side as a monetary amount of money. And the moment they realize that they can take it from you, and you ain't going to do a damn thing about it because most likely it's going to be behind you when they grab you, if you're still standing up when they take it. What are you going to do once they take it? You're going to chase them? No. You've lost your tactical advantage. Number two, every Ken and Karen in the United States is afraid of firearms. And if your name's Ken or Karen, I'm not insulting you. I'm just using it as a little deal here. And I'm apologizing in front here. But when they see a firearm, they don't see law-abiding citizen with their concealed carry. They see a criminal. So there becomes number two. Number three, restaurants, hotels, any bar. Well, you can't go in a bar anyways, but any restaurant or anything else that deems your business not lined with their business. Do you think Perkins or the bank or any other place like that is going to let you come walking in there with an open carry? They're just going to refuse your service. So what do you want to do? Do you want to open carry, lose your tactical advantage, deal with the percussions of it, the stigmatism of it, or do you want to conceal carry, have your tactical advantage, and when things happen, you got it with you? Because you think it's bad now to conceal carry with clothes over top of it. What do you think it's going to be like when you can open carry? You've got every jackass in the world that's going to be having the cheapest ass piece of crap holster. And then we got more problems with the guns being taken from people. I don't know if you can tell how passionate I am about this. I don't understand the whole, I want open carry. Why do you want open carry? If you want to open carry in Florida, go fishing, go hunting, go camping. You're allowed to open carry to and from hunting, fishing, or camping. But then I asked you again, why? Why? If you're in the woods, why would you open carry? Because at that point in time, whatever, you don't see the bad guy. Now the bad guy sees you. So that is why I think that Florida and the sheriff department and all the other places that are given this whole, okay, you want it, we'll do it, but we don't really want it. Because you think the sheriff's department really wanted the permitless carry in Florida. That's why the FDLE stood behind it and said, we don't want this. We don't think it's good. But if you guys want it, we're going to do it. The cops never had to worry about anybody in Florida, but in their vehicle. Now they have to worry about everybody who makes it to Florida with a firearm can permitlessly carry. It makes their job even harder. So, appliance tips. I apologize for going on a rampant here, but I just don't see the positives of open carry. I'm a deer hunter. I never open carry. Well, I bow hunt, muzzleloader, my rifle hunt, but I would never open carry. Even when I'm hunting, fishing, or camping, I always have a gun on me. It's in my pocket. It's there for my protection. It's there for a tactical advantage. That's all they are. That's all. Because trust me, if I can run away, that boy can run. I am going to use my firearm as my last option. And I don't know of you can't give me a good positive reason to open carry. It's not going to stop the bad guy. It's going to make people uncomfortable. See all that stuff involved. All right, well, that's another class. That's another time. Excuse me, guys. As always, God bless. Be safe. And remember, you are your first line defense. I love you very much. Thank you so much for watching this live from the range with your host, me, John Johnson. Until next time. Bye-bye, guys.